What's up, Barnhill family? Welcome back to the channel.
Yo, yo.
So, Nick, the legend, the alligator, Jacaré Souza, is no longer going to be competing in MMA. At 42 years old, he said, look, I've fought too much in the Vale Tudo and the MMA rule set, been punched too many times, and it's time to hang it up and get back to the sport that caused me to fall in love with martial arts in the first place, which is Jiu Jitsu. And he's going to be setting his sights, and his competitive juices are going to be flowing in the direction of sport jiu-jitsu. And I think not only is that great for Jacaré, and he's going to make some money in his 40s and really have some fun, but it is great for the sport of jiu-jitsu, a sport that's really growing, especially in the no-gi sector right now.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of new eyes coming to jiu-jitsu, but it's still a budding sport that not a lot of people pay much attention to because it's kind of a difficult sport to understand unless you actively compete in it yourself. I mean, there's been plenty of times where I've watched jiu-jitsu matches where I hardly know what's going on because it's so it can be just so wild and dynamic, and some of the exchanges, especially in a gi. So the no gi outfit definitely helps people that don't completely understand the gi grips and whatnot uh, pick up on what's taking place. And when you have super fights happening in jujitsu, it generally happens between a really good jujitsu guy who's trying to get his name out there and a nice competitor that fought MMA or fought something, wrestling that picked up some headlines that way, and they're willing to bring somebody else up and bring some eyes to a show. So I like that the MMA fighters are coming over and doing that. And Jacare, obviously, he has an extensive background in jiu-jitsu, but people know him because of his martial arts, his MMA career, his UFC career. So when he announces that he's going to be fighting, whether it's on Submission Underground or Third Coast Grappling, wherever it is, a lot of people are going to tune in to watch it. And he's likely going to be going up either against other legends of the sport, either MMA or jiu-jitsu, or he's going to be going against some of these young monsters that are coming up in the world of no-gi and gi grappling that would love to get some shine off of a veteran like Jacare.
Yeah, and it's going to be very cool to see because Jacare, not only is he a big name and he's going to bring a lot of eyes and a lot of talking and a lot of just excitement in general around the competition aspect of jiu-jitsu, but he's also pretty dang good at jiu-jitsu. He's got a lot of world championships to his name, very good in the gi, very good in the no gi. If you look at who he's defeated in jiu-jitsu, it's literally like the Mount Rushmore. It's the who's who of jiu-jitsu. He's fought Roger Gracie. I mean, you name it, he has fought everybody in the sport of jiu-jitsu and beaten most of them.
Yeah.
So to see him come in and really at 42 years old, what would you really want to just go back in the cage and get punched in the face for and have to cut a bunch of weight and all of that, when in reality, Jacare, and I'm not saying this is no exaggeration, can make well into six figures per year doing jiu-jitsu competitions. And we're seeing that with like Rafael Lovato right now. He had to take some time off due to some medical concerns with MMA, and he's competing. He's doing these fight to wins, who's number one. As you mentioned, the Third Coast Grappling, Submission Underground. There's a lot of good promotions right now, and he's literally, competing weekend after weekend after weekend, making good money and doing seminars in every city that they're going to and competing in. And it's just a really good thing, I think, for somebody who still is in their mid 40s, early 40s, has got a lot of miles under them as far as MMA goes, but still has those competitive juices flowing through their veins like Jacare clearly does. You see a lot of people like Diego Sanchez, I'm saying, potentially to bare knuckle boxing and pending a medical exam. And like, I just shudder when I hear that. But when I hear something like Jacare is going back into sport jiu-jitsu, I just get excited. I just get happy, and I'm excited. And I hope that he can show these guys who are reaching the end of their MMA career that there is still a lot of life to be had and a lot of money to be made, by the way, in competing in the beautiful, gentle art of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, and growing a sport that you love that brought you to martial arts like jiu-jitsu, a sport that deserves to be seen on the worldwide stage. And while it is growing, like I said, it's still just it's so young, and we would like to see a lot of people start watching it and give young fighters who don't want to get punched in the face and don't want to, travel down that avenue of full contact, unarmed combat. It's a safer way for people to compete. And if somebody doesn't really like to get punched, but they love competing, they love wrestling, they love grappling, jiu-jitsu and no-gi grappling is a great place for them to showcase their skills and have a career as an athlete, a combat athlete. So I think it's really great for people like Jacaré to do that. I'm sure a lot of young fighters are very grateful to get the opportunities. I don't know who he's going to fight next or fight first with his return back to jiu-jitsu, but make no mistake about it, it's going to be a big event when it happens. Hopefully they give him somebody that, give him somebody that is equal to him as far as skill goes, and also doesn't quite have the same name recognition as him. Because when you got two guys, like let's just say they throw him in there with a Lovato Jr., it'd be a lot of fun, but both of those guys are the big names. So they need to kind of spread it out a little bit. And I think that would really help these young fighters. If they got to fight on that same card, or if they got to fight against one of these guys, it would be really cool for the young guys out there that are just trying to make their name, just trying to make a few bucks. And, you hear like John Danaher talk about Gordon Ryan. He was like, of course, Gordon has the opportunity to do whatever he wants. He's his own man. I would kind of rather not see him go over to MMA, just because I want to show the world that you can make a great living just doing jiu-jitsu without getting punched, just doing no-gi grappling. No sense in going to MMA and becoming a star over there and then bringing your star recognition into jiu-jitsu. Let's go grassroots from the bottom all the way up through jiu-jitsu and create somebody who is, making millions of dollars for themselves and doing it in the sport that they love, that they don't want to, compromise their health going to MMA to try to elevate.
Yeah, that's a great point. And Gordon Ryan is making more money per year between competing, instructionals, sponsorships, and seminars than I would venture to say 95% of the UFC's current roster, if not more. So he's proving that there is a living to be had here. It's a very competitive, very difficult sport. And as you said, I'd love to see Jacaré versus Lovato Jr., and we probably will see that. Let's just be honest. But when everybody who competes in jiu-jitsu, no matter if you're an ADCC champion or a brand new black belt that's looking to get your name out there, you would say yes immediately if Jacaré was offered to you. So he's going to get kind of the pick and of the litter, so to speak, and it's going to be interesting to see who he fights. But whoever he fights, it's going to raise their stock. It's going to raise Jacaré's stock. And I really, truly hope that a lot of UFC fighters that have, and not just jiu-jitsu, a lot of these guys have wrestling backgrounds. As we see, Anderson Silva, he always wanted to scratch that itch of professional boxing. And so he's doing that now, but he's doing it kind of in a way, yes, you can get punched in the face and get knocked out and hurt, but he's not doing the damage to his body that he was doing when he was competing in MMA, extreme weight cutting and all of that sort of stuff. So I think that this post-career, almost like a what do you call it when the show is the encore, so like a little bit of an encore career in the martial arts that they came from is a great thing. And I'm so glad Jacaré is going down that road. He's an MMA legend. He's even a bigger jiu-jitsu legend than he is an MMA legend, if you can believe that. And the fact that he's going back to his roots and he's going to help to raise the sport that made him fall in love with fighting is just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, the best thing about jiu-jitsu is, for the most part, results don't matter. And you don't get injured all the time. You're not on a medical suspension for 3 months indefinitely after your fight. You can fight every single week, and you can fight multiple times in a weekend in jiu-jitsu. And it really doesn't matter if you win or lose, as long as you're out there competing, put on good shows. People are going to tune in to watch, and it's going to grow the sport. So I'm sure it'll be exciting news whenever we get some Jacaré Souza Jiu-Jitsu match information out, but I can't wait to see it.
Me either. Well, guys, thanks so much for watching this video. If you've enjoyed the content, a like, comment, and subscribe is always appreciated. And drop us a comment and let us know what you think about Jacaré moving over to sport jiu-jitsu, the sport that he fell in love with. And do you think more athletes should do this at the end of their UFC or MMA fighting careers? Nick and I certainly think they should.
Mhm.
And guys, if you listen to audio podcasts, we're there as well. Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Check us out. Leave us a review if you can. And until the next video, have a wonderful day.
Peace.